Good day, I am Patricio Joy, and for today, I'll be discussing literary approach, feminist approach, as well as the common space of feminist approach by Tyson. At this moment, I'll be discussing first the literary approach. So, what is literary approach? Literary approach is the body of ideas and methods we use in practical reading of literature. Furthermore, the focus of literary approach is to broaden the reader's understanding of an author's work by interpreting, analyzing, and exploring its value. There are lots of types of literary approaches, but at this moment, we'll be focusing on feminist approach. So what is the feminist approach? Feminist approach is concerned with the impact of gender in terms of writing and reading. More so, the focus of feminist approach is analyzing gender inequality. And the purpose of feminist approach is to change the way people see male and female's right and campaigning for equal votes in terms of writing and reading. In addition, feminist approach requires supporting the agency, voice, empowerment of women or girls in all their diversity, especially those who face and experience discrimination or marginalization as well as stereotyping. Next, women are being excluded as writer from the traditional literary canon, and these instances is a form of discrimination or marginalization. Then, most of the time, male dominated female. And because of this, it is very obvious that female experiences discrimination, stereotyping, and marginalization. In addition, feminist criticism highlights the various ways women have been oppressed, suppressed, and repressed. That leads to questioning the old text and eventually develops and uncovers a female traditional or ways in writing. Women writers use as their words from female perspectives according to Bressler. For an instance, if a woman wants to be a writer, she should have all the opportunities and rights to do so. And nobody or no one should question or doubt her capability and ability to be a writer. Because most of the people of the society only believes that the only very good in their eyes are men, and that belief should be void forever. That men and women should be treated equally in the society. According to Shlomo Argamon, women have a more interactive style in writing. Indeed, women are more fan of using flowering words in their writing. In short, women are more dramatic and often use their emotions in writing because women wants to create relationship or connection between the writer and the reader. Unlike man in terms of writing are very straightforward or direct to the point. However, every literary piece or literature being made, neither boy or girl, male or female, is a masterpiece. It is a masterpiece that needs to be treasured, valued, and respected. At this moment, we'll proceed to the common space of feminist approach by Tyson. First is that women are being oppressed by men in terms of economically, politically, socially, and even psychologically. Next, women are more prone to discrimination or marginalization as well as stereotyping over men. Then, that women are being dominated by men. Culture determines our gender as masculine for men and feminine for women. Lastly, the overall purpose is to promote gender equality. Remember, gender determines nothing, and that gender differences are only imposed by the society. That would be all. Thank you so much and have a great day.
Everyone. In continuation to the topic of the previous reporter, I am here to discuss to you the characteristics of the feminist approach. The classic and feminism gendering the classic. First is, the feminist scholar differentiate sex from gender and view the latter as a socially or culturally constructed category. Gender is learned and performed, normative meanings given to sexual differences by various cultures. Feminists may differ in the importance they assign to sex, which is biologically based category. Although sex or gender systems differ cross-culturally, most known societies have used and still use sex or gender as a key structural principle organizing their actual and conceptual world, usually to the disadvantage of women, while feminist scholar argues that the gender is crucial category of analysis. Feminist scholars also seek to question and transform androcentric system of thought which present the male as the norm. So, what is androcentric bias? Androcentric bias occurs when male experiences is treated as the norm, whereas female realities are not considered or are relegated to the abnormal. Feminists believe that existing inequalities between dominant and marginalized groups can and should be removed. Therefore, feminist scholarship has an acknowledged and accepted political dimension as opposed to the hidden political dimension of scholarship that claims to be neutral and objective, so that neither male or female is taken as normative, but both are seen as equally conditioned by the gender construction of their culture. Furthermore, the feminist criticism has in many ways followed what some theorists call the three waves of feminism. The first wave of feminism happens in late 70s and early 90s. Writers like Mary Wollstonecraft, A Vindication of the Rights of Women 1792, highlights the inequalities between sexes. Wollstonecraft's work argued that the educational system over time deliberately trained women to be frivolous and incapable. She posited that an educational system that allowed girls and some advantageous boys would result in women who would be not only exceptional wives and mothers but also capable workers in many professions. Her works was unique in suggesting that the betterment of women's status, being effective effected through such political change as the radical reform of the national education system. Such change, he concluded, would benefit all society. And activists like Susan B. Anthony and Victoria Woodhull contribute to the women's suffrage movement, which led to the national universal suffrage in 1920 with the passing of the 19th Amendment. On August 18, 1920, the 19th Amendment to the Constitution was finally ratified, enhancing all American women and declaring the first time that they are like men, deserve all the rights and responsibilities of citizenship. Now for the second wave of feminism. In early 1960s and late 1970s, building on more equal working conditions necessary in America during World War II, movements such as the National Organization for Women, or NOW, writers like Simone de Beauvoir, led the Shim 6, 1972, and Elaine Showalters published the groundwork for the dissemination of feminist theories, dovetailed with the American civil rights movements. Lastly, the third wave feminism happens in the early 1990s and up to the present, resisting the perceived essentials over generalized and oversimplified ideologies in the white heterosexual middle-class focus of the second wave feminism. The third wave feminism borrowed from post-structural and contemporary gender and race theories to expand marginalization population experiences. Writers like Alice Walker worked to reconcile its feminism with the concerns of the Black community and the survival of wholeness of her people, both men and women, for the promotion of dialogue and community as well as for the valorization of women and all of the varieties of work women perform. This is the end of my report, and thank you for listening. I hope you learned something from my presentation. Thank you and God bless.
Hey guys, it's me Juri and welcome back to this video. And this video is all about formalist approach, one of the critical approaches to literature. So we will be discussing formalist approach, but before that, let me ask you a question first. How would you like to be judged by other people? Is it by the way who you are in the past, or by the way who you are right now? Or you want people to assume who you really are based on your past behavior? Most probably, most people would actually choose for people to know us is for who we are right now. And the same goes with formalist approach. So when we say formalist approach, it focuses on the text. When we do a formalist criticism, we are just going to analyze the text. We're just going to be analyzing the text itself. The background of the author doesn't matter. Like Shakespeare? Shakespeare who? No one cares if you are the author of a certain text. What we care about is the text itself. We are going to be criticizing what's in the text. So now, in formalist approach, it uses close reading. So when we say close reading, meaning we have to read the text word by word, because we believe in formalist criticism that every word has a relation to one another, that these words are correlated, that these words have relationships. Sana all relationships. Now, it ignores the author, reader, and social context. The author's opinion, the reader's opinion, and the social background of the text doesn't matter. We only care about here the text itself. So what we are going to be looking at formalist criticisms are the imageries, figurative language in the text, the structure, and etc. Formalist approach studies text as only text. The use of literary devices, words, imageries, symbols shape the work itself. This strategy tends to focus on the formal aspect of the work. Critics of formalists believe that literature is not a reflection of an artist and author. There are three main areas of the study: form and unity, diction, and incongruities or inconsistencies. Cadence, how the words sound. So in here, we can identify the sound of what is being said or how it is being said, in which it will give us the clue to who or why the character is in the work. This also includes the formal and informal language pattern like rhythm, rhyme, and sound devices. Repetition or recurrence, saying the same word, phrase, or context over and over. When an event or theme happens more than one, it will actually give a clue that it is an important part of the work. Also, formalists note that on how the context of the recurring phrase or word will change with each repetition. Structure. The story arc and character's arc are of great interest to formalists. This is where how or when the conflict was being introduced, or what plot is being used, is it a traditional plot or in medias res, and also how well the rising action was being presented, or how the characters interact with other characters. Relationship, the connection between characters. Every character is put into a story for a reason. As a reader, we need to identify and understand what is the connection or relationship for each and every character in order for us to know and understand the meaning of the work. Denotation, dictionary defined of a word. The moment that we read a literary piece, there are some instances that we will encounter unfamiliar words used by the author. Some formalists used dictionaries in order to get the meaning of the word, like Oxford English Dictionary. So we need a dictionary in order for us to get the meaning of the word, in order for us also to know what that word stands for in the text. Etymology, the study of the evolution of the word. This is useful for some formalists because studying old text or encountering old text used by the author will help them to get its meaning during the time it was used by the use of etymology. Connotation, commonly accepted meaning of the word. Formalists usually pay attention to the context of how the piece may alter meaning to the word or phrase. Connotation also deals with emotions or associations connected to a specific word. Ambiguity, use of an open-ended word that has multiple meanings. Ambiguity occurs usually in a word, image, or event that generates two or more meaning, and it is usually considered as a flaw because it's equated with a lack of clarity and precision. However, formalists consider ambiguity a source of richness, depth, and complexity that adds to the text value. Symbol, a concrete word or image used to represent a concept. Formalists are concerned on how the symbol works and how it was used in the text. The use of symbolism should contribute to the overall effect and meaning of the work. Allusion, links from the text at hand to other works. In formalism, studying the text alone is its main objective, but the author's intentional reference, works, or event beyond the text is an important technique that formalists must take. There is a reason why the author is taking the reader outside the text, so studying allusion will reveal its reason. Formalists looked for tension and conflict. Irony and paradox are very important. Paradox is a statement that seems self-contradictory but represents the actual way things are. For example, it is a biblical paradox that you must lose your life in order to gain it. Irony in its simple form means a statement or event undermined by the context in which it occurs. The following description of a wealthy husband's sense of moral rectitude from Edith Wharton's House of Mirth is an example of an ironic statement. Literary conventions are the features of a literary work that define its genre. These elements can be tropes, arcs, cliches, or certain devices that help distinguish how your audience will classify your literary text. For instance, people interested in romance novels are often looking for a happy ending and unconditional love between the main love interest. Betrayal and tragedy. In many of Shakespeare's plays, like Hamlet, the main character's trust is violated, which is revealed to the audience through dramatic irony. The formalist will pay close attention to the internal violations and variations, like anachronism is a literary device that places someone or something associated with a particular time in history and the wrong time period. Disruptions to the internal chronology of the work. Is there any problem or disturbance that interrupt the event or work? Shifts in narrative voice, point of view, and etc. The shift of how the story is being told, like from the first person, second person, or third person, limited or omniscient. A typical action by one or more characters. Someone or something that is atypical is not typical of its kind. Or is there any unwanted actions of the character that is seen?